Alright, it is Monday, April 29th, 2019 at 11:54 a.m. Alright, how about that Battle of Winterfell, guys? That was pretty intense. Back to back from Endgame to Battle of Winterfell and Game of Thrones. This has been an interesting weekend. Too much emotions. Alright, I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but wow. Alright, well, let's talk about the weather. May 2019 temperature outlook. Warm in west and southeast, cool in central US and northeast. A cooler than average temperature trend is anticipated to continue in parts of the northern US. Near to below average temperatures are expected in the central US and the northeast. Warmer than average May is likely in parts of the west and southeast. Cool conditions are expected in north-central United States and parts of the northeast in May, while the southeast and west will continue to trend warmer than average temperatures. Areas that might see temperatures the more than average include much of Florida Peninsula, as well as the southwestern Washington, western Oregon, and northwestern California, according to an outlook released Monday by the Weather Company and IBM Business. Area from the northwest into the Great Basin of Central California can generally expect above average temperatures, while areas from the east and south into the Rockies and southwest may see near or slight above average temperatures. The southeast will also generally see above average conditions, with areas in parts of the mid-Atlantic and Ohio Valley will see near average to slight above average temperatures. So it's going to be more than above average in the Florida area and the southeast, near to slight below average in the middle, and much above average in the California and western regions. Below average temperatures, however, are anticipated from parts of the northern plains into the North Great Lakes and northern New England, and central U.S. and northeast is expected to experience a near to slight below average temperatures. Let's take a look here at May's average temperatures. Temperatures average in the 80s across South in May, which suggests above average temperatures in the southeast could be very warm. However, those in the southern plains, while slightly cooler than average temperatures are possible, might get a break from the heat. Average highs across the northern tier are in the 60s in May, so there could be a cool feel to the month in areas where below average temperatures merge. So, 90s and 80s in the southern part of the United States, 70s in the middle part of the United States, and the northern states in 60s. That is what the average temperatures will be. Morning lows can still be chilly in May, especially in parts of the higher elevations of the west, as well as northeastern Minnesota into far northern New England, where lows average in the 30s. Cooler than average temperatures from the upper Midwest to northern New England could leave more of a winter and early spring feel at times. However, above average temperatures in the west may result in mild start to the day. Average lows in the 50s and 60s across the south, and much warmer than average conditions there would make it feel more like summer than late spring. So, these are the average low temperatures, 60s, 50s, 40s, and 30s, but 70s and 60s in the Florida and the south. That's the average low temperatures. The average highs, as we saw earlier, would be 80s and 70s, so it could feel more like summer. Alright, let's move on. Tropical cyclone Fani, a threat to eastern India, Bangladesh late this week. Tropical cyclone Fani is gaining strength in the southern Bay of Bengal. Fani could pose a threat to eastern India excuse me, and possibly Bangladesh late this week. It is too early to determine any potential impact since Fani's future path is uncertain. Tropical cyclone Fani is forecasted to become a formidable cyclone in the Bay of Bengal and is likely to pose danger parts of the eastern India and Bangladesh late this week. Fani is currently centered in the south-central position of the Bay of Bengal and has approximately sustained winds equivalent of 73 miles an hour. The atmospheric conditions are forecast to become more favorable for strengthening in the next few days, and Fani should grow into a strong tropical cyclone this week. The U.S. Joint Typhoon Warning Center is forecasting Fani to have winds that are equivalent in strength to a major hurricane, Category 3 or stronger, by Thursday or Friday. Fani will track northwestward through the next few days toward a weekend portion of an area of high pressure in the upper atmosphere. It will eventually turn more north, then northwestward late this week, around the periphery of that high. Where how sharp the turn is will have major implications on what impacts East India or Bangladesh may see. Parts of the eastern Indian could see flooding, rain, damaging winds, and storm surge flooding as Fani moves on the left side of the forecast path. A track farther eastward on the right side of the path may only bring peripheral impacts to the northeastern India and more significant impacts to Bangladesh. The timing of any potential threat would be later this week. And here you see the forecast path of Fani. Let's zoom in a little bit for those who can't see that well. Here we go. Here's the path. 75 miles an hour on Tuesday, 90 miles an hour by Wednesday, 125 miles an hour by Friday, and 70 miles an hour Saturday once it's inland. Alright. It's too soon to provide additional details on Fani at this time, but check back with weather.com for updates. Spring is a typical time for Bay of Bengal tropical cyclones. Spring is a typical time for the formation of tropical cyclones in the Bay of Bengal. It's right before a wet phase of the South Asian monsoon develops in April and June, and right after it fades, September, early December, when upper level winds relax enough for strong tropical cyclone development in the northern Indian Oceans. As the monsoon wet phase peaks in the summer, upper level winds in the northern Indian Ocean become too brisk for strong tropical cyclones to develop. Instead, weak monsoon depressions with heavy rain can form at times. Let's take a look at WXCHARTS and see what is forecasted for this Fani storm. You see here, we'll be getting closer to India. Hitting land, then moving inland and breaking apart. Alright. Let's take a look here at the next article. Indonesia flooding landslide kill more than 30 people. At least 22 people were killed by a landslide in Bengkulu province. A family of 6 died in a landslide in Lampung province. More than 12,000 people had to flee their homes. A torrential monsoon rains have led to floods and landslides that have killed more than 36 people in Indonesia. The country's disaster agency said Monday. The Bengkulu province on the island of Sumatra, more than 12,000 people have been driven from their homes by the flooding, according to the Indonesian National Board for Disaster Management. At least 13 people are missing and 29 people died there over the weekend. A landslide in central Bengkulu killed 22 people, the agency said. 2 11-year-old boys drowned while playing in a flooded area in Bengkulu City, the Independent reported. A family of 6 people was killed in a landslide in neighborhood Lampung province on Saturday, AFP reported. The disaster agency said getting aid to everyone affected is difficult because many roads have been washed out or blocked. Electricity is also cut off in many areas. Flooding last week in Jakarta, Indonesia's capital, killed 2 people and displaced more than 2,250. It also resulted in a release of 14 pythons that were being kept as pets, AFP reported. Illegal coal mining is partly to blame for the landslide, officials said, because of deforestation and loosened soil. Apart from natural factors like heavy rain, the flooding was also caused by human activity that destroys the environment, disaster agency head Donny Murado told reporters in Bengkulu Monday. The flooding in Bengkulu was made worse by the severe damage caused by coal mining. Air Balak from local environment group Konupu Bengkulu said in a statement. So illegal mining was blamed for killing dozens of the islands of Sulawesi in March when a makeshift mine collapsed. Last month, more than 112 people died and more than 90 remained missing after torrential rains pounded Indonesia Papua region, triggering landslides and flash floods. So guys, please pray for these people. Also, just wanted to point out how devastating rain is. All this rain melting from the snow and the snow caps all over the world, it's adding more to the system. All this extra rain is gonna keep affecting this planet, and there's gonna be floods happening all over the world. I feel so bad that it's happening, but I have to report it. Alright guys, hit like and subscribe for more videos. See you guys next time, and God bless.